Okay. Well, welcome for those of you that are just coming in on Zoom or whatever. This is a town hall meeting. We originally thought that Reverend John would be able to be here, but we're having Zoom difficulties. So, hi, John. You're probably watching. Hope I do okay. We just wanted to give you a quick update. Most of you are, I'm looking around here at least, are quite familiar with what's going on because you're our tried and true at classes and in Zoom land and all kinds of things and in different groups. But the last town hall meeting we had last month, one of the things that really came out in the collaboration idea, and those of you that don't know, we have 3 CSL communities right here within 10 miles of one another. And so we're doing things together because it's kind of silly for us to be competing with each other. We're all one. And there's a lot of talent and a lot of resources available between 3 of us. And I'm going to give you some background information on just the general state of what is happening throughout the nation in different quote-unquote spiritual or religious organizations. One of the main things you said last month was that you wanted an opportunity to get together and get to meet other people from other centers. So we're making that available to everyone through Adventures in Faith. Actually, it started with Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. Juanita and Sylvia are leading that. We're already past the point that you can sign up, but there are, I think, 13 of us about that show up all the time, and they from both communities. So it's really nice. We do it on Zoom, and it's terrific. So what I'm going to do is the Adventures in Faith is a program that you meet in small groups, that Carol Ann explained. You meet in small groups, either in homes. We might have a small group here, and by small group I need 5 to 8 people with 2 practitioners leading it. We are going to be book studying Stained Glass Spirit, and the subtitle of it is Becoming a Spiritual Community Where Oneness Does Not Require Sameness. And the collaboration team that has been working from here and there, and also from Reverend Kevin's place, Reverend Sunshine's, is talking about, we start with what were we saying, what's the same thing about all of us? And there's many, many, many things. The things we talk about so often. God is all there. I mean, just basic CSL principles, because we all abide by them. That's why we can have guest ministers come in, and they're speaking this from, if we had a hymn book, it'd be in the hymn book, because it's basically this, it is the science of mind teaching. So I think I'll just dive right in to the slides. These are the slides that Reverend John and Reverend Bobby shared with us last Sunday, and we talked about. So collaboration, this is the 4th meeting, and you see here it's to raise our awareness, the present reality of the trends in spiritual communities, and who we are, the emerging identity and cultural alignment. Okay, I'm just going to let you think about that a little bit. Those are big words. What does that mean? And I'm going to go through that a little bit. Okay, so what is happening around at least the nation? This is from a research group called Pew Research, easy for me to say, P-E-W, Pew, and they study religious organizations throughout the nation, and it's very well known between anybody that it works in churches of any sorts, synagogues, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so before the pandemic, we already had a 14% decline in attendance nationwide. People just found other things to do, I suppose. The attendance in church dropped 51% during pandemic. And I think most of you, well, you might not know. Every Sunday, I count. I know exactly how many people are here, how many people are on Zoom, and how many people are on Facebook. And most churches do. So I know exactly what has been happening and where we are, and I'll share some of that later. But, I mean, you all know. You were at home watching Zoom. You may not have known how many other people were. We had quite a number. And as we've come back, I will tell you this. We get 2 to 3 new people walk in that door every single Sunday. Every Sunday. So, and I know, because you know me, I'm back there and I tackle them when they walk in. And I also know this, because I'm the treasurer of the council. 26 to 50% decline in giving. Not surprising. I mean, how many people would come on Sundays and, oh, the basket's going around, I guess I'll put some in, or I feel silly, whatever. Well, we don't even pass the basket around now because, we just got away from that during the pandemic. We still have a lot of people that give automatic tithing, which means that every month we have their credit card and it just gets debited whatever it is, $10, $50, some people get $400 a month. Bless them. So I give an extra blessing when I see those. No, just kidding. I give a blessing to everyone. 20% of churches actually closed in 2021. And again, you've seen them around. In 2014, there were 2,370 closures. In 2019, another 4,500. And then there were 100 closures per week in 2020. 35% of churches closing from 2014 to 2019, which is just another way of saying that. 38% of our ministers are retiring. Again, we see that. Reverend John, 27 years in Florida, retired. Reverend Guy, he's been up here saying, I'm about ready to retire. In fact, he told me one day, if I was 20 years younger, I would come and be the minister here, but I'm trying to retire. How many of those do we have? Reverend Bobby is actually a retired corporate executive and doing this on the side type thing. 38% of the ministers, 91% burnout. I mean, I never thought about that. I mean, I know I was burnt out in my corporate job and I quit, but 72% of them work between 55 and 70 hours a week. And think about it. We expect them to be available 24/7, right? But I need, what do you mean he's taking Monday off? I remember I used to get so mad at Reverend Josh when he'd pick up the phone on a Monday. You need to have a day off, dude. He didn't listen. 57% of pastors believe they are not receiving a livable wage. And again, this is statistically throughout the United States. So not just CSLs. This is everything. Okay, next slide. John, next slide. Thanks, sweetie. This is just, again, another way of saying that you'll see that, just look at this first one, at least 1 to 2 times a month that they attend. So you'll see it's going down from 2019, 2020, 2021. The last slide that I'm kind of covering up there is they never or seldom attend church. We know that Mother's Day is our biggest day. Easter is a close second because people like to get dressed up, I suppose. They like our hats. Remember, when Easter comes around, you've got to wear a hat. Or I'll give you one. And in Christian church, of course, Christmas and Christmas Eve is huge. Maybe or maybe not. To give you an illustration, the next slide, Reverend Bobby gave us this is her job description. Again, I will give you a time to look at that, because look where delivering motivational Sunday services is. 1 box. That's what most people are. I don't like that, church. I don't like that. I'll read some of them, because look how much it is. There's the ecclesiastic. You've got the oversight of any. Yeah, you got it right there, sweetie. Yeah, we have handouts. And those of you online, maybe take a picture of it. But you'll see we've got oversight of ministers, you've got the community and self-discovery, you've got education programs, the logistics, the technologies, the speakers, the music, the sound, the order of service, support teams. That is what you see is happening on Sundays. That's our in-house collaboration team. That's Carol Ann Perini, finding musicians, getting together a group of people that can be hosts and hostesses. That is Marjorie Ray, who finally took a week off. She's on her way back from Montana. Yes, bless her heart. And she gets the speakers. And when the speaker can't come, like today, and Reverend Sunshine found us, Reverend Kevin, but we weren't sure he was going to get here. So the practitioners were back there together going, okay, we could talk about this, and well, how about this, and how about this idea, and da-da-da-da-da. And so, we're so used to being self-directed now because we don't have a minister telling us what to do. Reverend John said that is a much healthier place to be. If you have a minister that you rely everything on, all of those things, administrative support, which we don't have either. So Janice and Florian donated their time, up to 30 hours a week, to run the office, because as those of you know, Julie, our long time secretary, passed away right after the pandemic started. And right after that income went, all the ministers we talked to said, that's the person you need to pay first. You need to get somebody in that office, because we were blessed that Florian knew what was going on in the beginning, and that Janice graciously gave up a job she loved to donate her time. I know. And Janice doesn't like to be in front of the things. I can't tell you how many things she does in the background, and people think I'm doing it. I'm not. Janice does it. I'm just a mouthpiece. Now, though, she has decided she could use some income, so she's going back to Goodwill. They said, whatever you want, we'll give you. So she said 30 hours a week. She goes over there, and then she comes back here for 2 hours. I know it. I'm just like, Janice, you've got to give away some things. And then, of course, there's me, and I just do stuff. Hey, John, where'd you go? I need the next slide. Oh, he's getting food. Okay, well, I guess he can eat, because he goes to another job after this, too, by the way. He works from 3 to 11 down at Orange County Airport. So I'm just saying this because I didn't know. I had no idea what it really took to run this place until we had lost a minister, we lost our secretary, and then we started doing Zoom stuff, and we needed somebody that could figure all this stuff out. Thank goodness John has a degree in technology and is able to do this. And we don't pay him enough either. He and Winda are about the only ones, and Winda's if y'all have any youth, you've got to get them over there. Oh my gosh, my kids got so much, but they would have gotten so much more if they were in Winda's youth group. I mean, you hear what they talk about. She and Ian just run an amazing program over there. So having a practitioner run the youth program, how blessed. And she's got the best consciousness ever. I'm always amazed, yeah. I'm going to just talk about this point. 91% of ministers report that they have burnout, which we talked about. Almost 78% of ministers say that their vacation time is interrupted. Again, right? Reverend Kevin, yep. Yeah, exactly, yeah. 52% so again, overwhelmed, not paid enough, unrealistic expectations. And if you think It's not that we're mean. We just never thought about it, right? I mean, they're supposed to be holier than thou. Can't you just have God do some stuff? I think they do. And, of course, one of the bigger things is the pay. 57% of ministers don't think they make a livable wage. They can't pay their bills. That is nationwide. That includes southern Indiana, where my little town was, where it costs nothing. We would give them a place to live. We can't afford to do that here in Seal Beach. So we don't mean to get you depressed, but this is reality. And to move forward, you have to have some reality. Kevin?
It's my first time at the town hall. And is there anything I can add?
Sure.
And the other question is, since I'm coming in late.
Come up here because we've got Zoom people out there, so I'd love it. See? Collaboration in action.
So my question to everybody, and hello to people on Zoom, is what's your objective for your process?
We're working on that.
Okay.
That's what the whole collaboration is about.
Okay. And then are there any questions that I can ask from a ministerial point, or answer that I can from a ministerial point of view? Yes.
How are you supported? Not financially, but spiritually.
What do you mean, my support system? I have a practitioner and my ministerial colleagues. Those are the folks that I'm on the phone with or FaceTiming with or whatever. Yeah. And I do practitioner work both ways via Zoom now. Works out.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's an interesting use.
We have some other things to get to real quick.
Well, anyway.
Just sit right there, and then that way we... As you can tell, I'm not afraid. I used to run a company with lots of employees. I'm used to telling people what to do. You do that. This is exactly what you were asking. The second to the last line, John, if we were willing to explore combining resources. Because that's where we're at now. We are talking with people from Namaste, Reverend Bobby, Reverend John, Reverend Sunshine, about if we were willing to explore combining our resources, what could we do? What would we do more of? The second to the last slide. It's the one with the road sign merging. What would we have to stop doing? What might we be willing to give up? And what will we have to start doing differently? Those are all questions that take a while to get used to. I must admit, I always think of myself as, hey, let's give it a try. Let's do this. I'm a let's go forward person. Well, a couple of the times I would feel like, oh, I don't know. It looks kind of scary to me. I don't think I want to take that step. But then after I'd think about it for a while, or more importantly, as we started spending more and more time as a collaboration team, and again, the collaboration team are practitioners and the leadership council from here, from Namaste, and actually, I can't remember the name of your... Vida, thank you. I've been thinking it would come to me, but Vida, and coming together to say, okay, how could we, we own our building, but it's not very big. We don't have places to have parties or, just different things. We had a lovely memorial service here yesterday for Ann Lisi. It was absolutely lovely. And their family did a whole lot to help us do everything, which was fine, they were very, very happy to do and very generous to the church in doing so. So the core business, this goes to answer your question. The next slide, the last slide, please. What's next for the team? Our core business vision, what brings us fulfillment as a community? What are we recognized for? So if you ask people, what is it that this church, this center does? What do they think of? And what was interesting when we started meeting together was many of the qualities and traits of inclusion, everybody's welcome, connection, thank you. Yeah, some of the youth that are in that the group with me, us. And why is that important? Why is it important? Why do we come? Because if you know why you come, then we know why other people might come. And what are we here? And I keep going back every time we have a care group meeting, every time we have a practitioner meeting, a council meeting, a steering group meeting, a collaboration meeting, I keep coming back to what are we trying to do? Right? And I come back to, I want to give more to people of what I get. I want people to be able to experience what we have here. I look out there and I can almost cry when I look at Florian and Carol Ann, Rachel and Sylvia, Florette and Don. I mean, the connections that are available here, but people have to experience it. So what we're going to do is we're going to have this Adventures in Faith, and there could not be a better word for it. So it's super exciting. This is going to be really, this is one of those things that I went, okay. The first part was easy. On October 9th, thank you. The 6th and the 9th, that's hard. October 9th, we're going to have our Sunday service like normal, 10 o'clock, except the musicians, Reverend Bobby will be talking. We'll have some of their technicians helping us. We're going to combine the service. All of their folks, they're not going to have a 4:30 service. All their folks are going to come over here. So y'all be on your best behavior. No. No, they'll love us and we'll love them. But I totally encourage you to not have them sitting on one side and us sitting on the other, right? In the collaboration meetings, we specifically try to get to know each other. And I know you will because that's who you are. I know you will. Then we'll go through the class, and if you have any question, it's a little confusing the way the classes work, but you basically tell us what you want to do, and then we split you up into groups of 5 to 8 with 2 practitioners. Some may meet at my house in Long Beach. Some people might meet here. Some people might meet on Zoom. Some people might be in Huntington Beach, so that it's just more homey and more easier to get to know people. We will be putting people from any churches, wherever they come from, any peoples, together so that you can get to know each other better. Then, this is the part that I was like, November 6th, thank you, Eileen. We will have a very, very short, laid-back service at 10 o'clock. Our main service, those of you that are this interested, we will all be going to where Namaste meets, which is the Christ Lutheran Church in Long Beach on Stearns. They have a lovely at 4:30. Good thing Eileen knows sign language. She's giving me sign. Of course, all I know is 4:30. So at 4:30, they meet, and we'll be joining them in their service. And again, our people will be there. We're talking about, okay, which practitioner from here will be practitioning, how, the musicians. Actually, Tina Carson is here on the October, not in November. But it's just going to be so much fun and so fabulous. And then afterwards, Janice and I have always put on the auction, right, year after year after year, and we miss that big old party. Well, we're going to party. We're going to have a big old party after their service. So at 4:30, we're going to have a potluck there, and they've got this beautiful, meeting hall and kitchen. Not as good as Florian's kitchen, but whatever. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. And we're going to, I don't know anything more about that, but I will tell you, Janice is working on it, along with a couple people from the Namaste Church. So it will be a lot of fun. I'm looking so forward to it. It will be kind of that first, we talked about at the very, very beginning, like, this is like we're dating, right? It's kind of like we don't know if we really want to hang out too much with this person, but we're on a date. Well, we're on a 4th date now, and it's time to meet the family. So we're going to get together so we can all meet the family, and then just kind of see what happens. We don't know. If you ask me, well, where are we going? We don't know. This is open-ended. We are trying to be creative. We are trying to be inclusive. We are trying to reach as many people as we can in the Seal Beach, Huntington Beach, Long Beach area, Cypress, Santa Fe Springs. See, I know all of your addresses because I keep the database. She lives at So I just encourage you, talk this up. We don't really know. And bless her heart, Marjorie Ray, she's so cute. She wants so badly. She was in financial planning, and she wants so badly to know the answer, and she just keeps letting go, saying, I don't know, right? I don't know. It's okay. I don't know. It's all right. And I love that. I love that about all the people working. It's just, we're just learning so much and doing so much. Will we eventually end up with a full-time minister, et cetera, probably, but we don't know when or where or how. In the meantime, we keep dragging Reverend John along with us, going, can you stay another 6 months? How about another 6 months? And he loves us so much, I think he's just going to indefinitely. Just kidding, John. Actually, just kidding, Kath. His wife's like, really? She loves us, too. She was here. Okay, questions? Any questions? What's questions? Yes, Sue.
Yeah. What would be a living wage?
Well, I don't know. What would be a living wage in Southern California?
Well, I don't know because I live in the world.
Well, they say to own a home, you have to make at least $150,000 a year. Sylvia? Kevin? Any of those above? Get up there. Okay, Sylvia's, you just come here and we just boss you all around.
I feel like I'm home. Say that again?
How do you financially support yourself?
Financially support myself with another job. Yeah, so I'm
You have another job, that's my point.
yeah.
Because we want ministers to have, this would be their job.
Yeah, that's what I want too. Yeah, it's tough. And in CSL, there are very few full-time ministers left. Most of them are part-timers like me. So, I mean, I am compensated by Vita, so I do get paid for my work there. I don't really want to tell you what the hourly rate works out to being.
$2.25.
Yeah, if that.
What would be a working salary for you as a full-time minister?
In Southern California, it would probably be over 100,000. Yeah. Let me give you some for instances. Dr. Mark Vieira at North Hollywood Church, his base is a little over 200,000. Michael Beckwith at Agape, his base is around 400,000 a year. So those are, full-time, 7 day a week spiritual communities, and that's what. And then you look at the staff ministers. North Hollywood has a couple of full-time staff ministers. They are in the $80,000 to $100,000 range for their additional ministers.
Are they sustaining right now, or they haven't lost anybody?
Well, both those churches, North Hollywood's my home church, and Agape's kind of my second home, they have shrunk quite a bit. And the advantage of being the size that they were, they have a lot of options as to how they downsize, and including remaining financially viable. A smaller, we'll take North Hollywood, they roughly have 1,000 members. They will see 400 to 500 people on a Sunday and across 2 services. And their annual budget's probably just under $1 million a year.
Ours isn't that much.
So they, once the, like we saw on the slides, once they can spot those trends, and they have excellent leadership at both organizations, they can make some of those tough decisions in anticipation of it, and they have a lot more options as to how they redirect their programs, and therefore how they redirect the resources to maintain.
I first want to thank Pam for all of her leadership. It's a daunting task, but we do it with grace and a lot of trust. So let us just take this moment to know that all is unfolding beautifully, gracefully, in the right time, in the right way. And we let go to that spirit, that inspiration that comes from that highest energy and that highest vision as we sink in and allow ourselves to know our oneness with that which is everlasting, infinite, everywhere present at all times. Knowing that that is the thread that connects each one to each other, each one to themselves, and each one to that highest energy. We know it is all good, and it must be so. That is what we teach, and that is what we believe, and that is what we live. Allowing it and allowing it and allowing it as we let go. In trust, in faith, in grace, and in joy, we rise together as we come together. And please join me in saying, and so it is.